Hello everyone, and welcome to GRCast, Season 2, Episode 2. It's franchise week here on GRCast, which means we pick a specific, usually relevant franchise. We get into our personal memories, some series history, maybe where we think the series is going to go in the future, and what kind of awesome things they should add, like other Nintendo characters. We'll get to that. I don't want to get too into it already. To discuss that and more, I am joined today by Adam, Allison, and Dakota. How's it going, guys?
Hi.
It's going well.
Heyo.
All right, well, I'm sure everybody's played Mario Kart at this point. Everybody on the planet must have gotten behind the wheel with Mario or Luigi, especially Luigi, now that he's the new hotness. I don't know if anybody's seen Luigi's bitch face or whatever, the death stare that he's been rocking.
Oh my god.
It's so good. It's good. If you haven't seen Luigi Death Stare, you're definitely going to want to Google that as soon as you get the chance. But I figured we could start off with a little bit of some memories of the series. Like, what was the time you most remember playing the game and thinking, you know, this is really something, and if I can sort of skip ahead and ruin my own rules, I'm going to start with my own. I'm going to be a narcissist for a minute. And it's almost tangential to the game because I just remember I had just moved out. We were living in a house with a bunch of other people, and the Mario Kart game for Wii had just launched, and we actually hooked it up to a projector and just projected it onto a wall in the middle of the night, and it was like a house full of typical sort of college-age young adults or whatever playing Mario Kart Wii online, projected to like 10 feet large on the wall. And it was a really good time. It could have been the alcohol. It could have been the freedom. But Mario Kart was definitely involved there. So I have fond memories of that game for that reason. What about you, Allison? You have any fond memories of Mario Kart?
I don't think I have anything that can top that one. That's pretty awesome. My first Mario Kart started with Mario Kart 64. And I don't really have anything in particular that I remember that was extra spectacular. Just being able to play with 3 other people on the same screen was like the most amazing thing ever. I never owned a GameCube, so I never got Double Dash, but I had friends, so I played that a little bit, but not as much as 64. And just being an ass to other people, I think, was kind of like the memories, because that's what you do in Mario Kart. You just, you know, you be an ass to your friends.
The original, I believe, was one of the first kart games at all. And I probably remember playing the battle mode on there where you just drive around with the balloons attached and try to hit your friends with the red shells and green shells and everything. That was always a good time because the whole mode was just focused on being an ass to your friends. If I remember right, that was before the blue shell. I hate that fucking shell. I hate it.
Yeah, that's the fuck you shell, basically.
Yeah, I think the original on the Super Nintendo only had green shells, red shells, and banana peels. I think that was it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That'd make for interesting battles right there.
Yeah, I bet. It should just be all green shells for a battle mode, as far as I'm concerned. You gotta have the skill to bounce it off the wall just so.
I just enjoyed when Mario Kart Battle was relevant.
Yeah, it's sort of gone downhill, hasn't it?
Like 2 words, Block Fort. Played the hell out of Block Fort.
Yes, Block Fort.
You want to break down a little bit what
I mean,
Block Fort was? I feel like, is that one of your fond memories?
Well, Block Fort was like the best and the only battle level I ever played on Mario Kart 64. No alcohol involved since I was 8, and there would have been some major problems there, but I don't know, just rolling around the top of those forts and trying to knock people down with the shells from the top, and especially laying the banana peels. There was always these almost like bridges across the very top, the 3rd level of the fort, and you just lay a ton of banana peels and then just sit there with red shells, and once someone came, they'd hit the banana peel, they'd spin out, lose a balloon, then they head towards you and you nail them with a red shell. You know, just being a dick.
That's right, it was balloons. Like, everybody had 3 balloons, and you had to hit them, and they would lose one. If you lose all of them, you were out or something.
Yeah, it was the 3 balloon system. Do they not still use that, or is it different?
I don't know, I haven't tried the battle system in the newer ones.
Well, it's because it's terrible.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mario Kart 8 does still use the balloon system, but battle mode doesn't have cool battle arenas. You just battle on mostly empty tracks, which is really kind of silly and terrible. I don't know why they decided to do that.
Yeah, I haven't tried it. I just heard about it, but that sounds not really as fun. It's like if you're not racing, there's no point to travel down the track. So it's kind of like, why are you? I don't know.
Well, I know because I got the review copy for Mario Kart 8 in early from Nintendo of Canada. And I messaged the PR person. I was just like, battle mode's terrible. And she said, yeah, I think we realize that now. So maybe a fix is going to come. Or, I mean, I'll pay $5 for block for it. Someone puts block for it at $5.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I hope they do something.
It was their plan all along to nickel and dime you for the modes you wanted, probably.
Well, it worked.
Most likely.
How about you, Dakota? You got any fond Mario Kart memories?
I feel like Mario Kart as an experience can be summed up in 2 words, which is Rainbow Road. I mean,
Yeah.
that level just makes me, basically hate myself and hate everyone I'm playing with because no one really wins when you're on Rainbow Road.
And yet you still play it over and over.
Over and over.
And
Because you
over.
have to beat it. You have
And over.
to. No, but I mean, I love the franchise. I've owned all of them, and they don't stop being good because they don't change their formula. And in a game like that, you shouldn't. I mean, they have it right the first time, and they just keep adding to it and getting new elements. I haven't played the new one yet, but I was reading something about like they introduced like an anti-gravity system, so you can like go on different surfaces, and I'm extremely excited about that.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, the anti-gravity thing is kind of neat, especially when you figure in that there are, I believe it's 16 courses from past games that they've remastered, and they've added things where you can hit the little anti-gravity pads. And for example, on the there's a level from the older games where it was like a Toad downtown sort of level or whatever, where there was loads of cars. If you hit
Oh my God, that level.
Oh yeah, everybody's favorite, right? Well, if you can bypass the cars at one part if you hit the anti-gravity pad and then just drive on the wall, pretty awesome.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, childhood me is like really upset about that now. I want to go back in time and use that.
I think it was really awesome that they actually, did extra stuff with the old levels instead of just slapping them on. That was like, I played some of those levels when I got the copy in it, and I was just like, this is awesome. And opens up, when it comes to DLC or anything, opens up like a wide variety of options for Nintendo, which I hope that they take advantage of.
That must be great nostalgia too.
And Dakota, if you were saying how you love Rainbow Road, but you haven't played 8 yet, they have 2 Rainbow Roads. One where it's like a brand new one, and then a remaster of the old one. And when we played them, I can't remember which is which, but one of them like kind of has like walls on the side, so you can't really fall off. So it's pretty easy, and it's just kind of nice. And then the other one is there are no walls, just kind of like the original one, and you just fall off all the time. And it was so like it brought me back because I was like, here we go again, just falling off every 5 seconds, just like here we go,
Yeah,
falling off again.
I love that they were like, one is not enough. We should add another. They need more of this.
More Rainbow Road.
The new version of Rainbow Road is actually fantastic. That's probably my favorite one. It's like in outer space, and you're traveling on these rainbow panels between space stations. Oh, it's so good. It's probably my favorite one. What do you think, just as a sort of side note, do you think Nintendo will abuse a DLC model and charge people a bunch of money, or do you think they're the kind of company that's just going to go, you know what, we made some tracks, just have them. You bought it, here they go.
I don't think they'll abuse it. They haven't in the past, as far as I know.
I guess usually for people who don't abuse it, it depends on budget. So if Nintendo has the budget for it, they probably won't charge us. But if they don't, then they'll have to. It's kind of like, but I don't think they're the kind of people who are like, oh, well, we have the money to make it, but we're going to charge you anyways. So it also depends on how much content they would put out. If it's something really huge, then they'd probably want to get paid for it. But
can they, is this an opportunity to sell Wii U's? Like, if you tell people, here, you can buy this Mario Kart bundle, and, if they came out and said, we're going to release X amount of free DLC or even like 99-cent track packs or something like that, I mean, that's a ton of content, lots of nostalgia for people that, have played the older titles. I think it's an opportunity that could be wasted if we're seeing $4.99 and up packs of tracks and stuff.
That's a good point.
That probably is a good chance for them to sell Wii U's, beyond the fact that the release of Mario Kart 8 saw a 666% increase in the sales of Wii U's. I don't know if it was specifically the Mario Kart bundle, although that's the way I would have gone, and in fact did go to replace the Wii U that I sold ages ago. But, I feel like
Wait,
No, go ahead.
you had a Wii U and then you sold it and then you bought another one?
This is a thing that I do where I will buy a machine and I play like the one game that I'm really looking forward to, and then I go, there's not another game coming out for this for like years that I want to play, so I sell it, and then I'm happy without it for a year, and then I buy another one a year later. It's I shouldn't do it, but the allure of having money immediately to spend on other things always gets me, and it loses me a lot of money in the end. I'm not saying it's smart. You shouldn't do it. Just keep your system. But I'm an idiot, and that's the problem.
Hilarious.
Speaking of console seller, I know this is a little bit off topic for Mario Kart, but I really think that they're counting on Smash Brothers to be their console seller as well. And you said it was such an increase. I didn't realize it was that much of an increase in console sales for when Mario Kart came out. I can't imagine what's going to be when Smash Brothers comes out.
I played Smash, and that game is awesome. And I've hated every Smash Brothers game that's ever come out. I just suck at them. I suck at this one too, but it's just so much fun. Best Buy in Canada and the United States had a 2 days during E3 week where you could go in and play it. And I went, and there was like 600, 700 people at the local Best Buy, and I just called the PR lady I have here from Nintendo, and she called the store, and I felt like an ass walking past everybody right to the front, but it worked out.
Nice. I would have done it.
Oh yeah, I still did it. I mean, people got angry, but
that is pretty
PR
awesome.
coming through.
Matt says he's had a terrible time ever getting in contact with Nintendo in the UK. I don't know how it is in the United States, but here maybe it's because they only got like 5 people to deal with, but it's awesome.
Well, it's also Canada, and everybody is super, super nice, so.
Like Matt's always said, the problem with people that want to write about video games is they hope to get free stuff, and it never happens. Like, I get a ton of free stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've only gotten free stuff from Matt. That's usually a Steam game or two every once in a while, but sounds like Nintendo of Canada is pretty generous.
It just blew my mind when it started happening, and Matt was like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, they just gave me a copy of Mario Kart. I don't know."
Matt's probably so angry at you.
He said he moved to Canada whenever he got the opportunity. He's not really happy with the political system over there anyway, so Canada is a nice place to go.
I feel like I might be next in line to move to Canada. I like, cold. I like bears. I like Mounties, and I sure as hell like free stuff. So this sounds great.
And you're pretty close already.
Yeah, it wouldn't take much. Just, I have to sneak through Detroit under the cover of darkness, though that might be more dangerous to get across the bridge, and then I'm home free.
Yeah, don't go at night. That'd be bad.
You're not home free. Windsor's a disaster. Keep driving.
I could tell you a story about Canada, but it's so far off topic that I won't bother for now. Anyway, back to Mario Kart. So here's the thing that always frustrated me about Mario Kart, and maybe it's less of a problem now, and this is besides the blue shell. I'm sure we can do a full 20 minutes on the blue shell. But that game, especially in the old days, had some rubber banding issues, like bad. If you were miles ahead, it was like 2 seconds later, those guys were going Mach 10 or whatever to catch up with you, and it always frustrated me.
They changed that with 8, though, didn't they?
I find 8 more competitive actually all around. Like even on the 50cc, I remember Double Dash, even on the Wii. I mean, on 50cc, I'd get way ahead of everybody else, and I'd stay that way. Like this time, it seems like the karts are more competitive, even though it's still easier to win on 50cc. It seems more competitive, or I'm just terrible.
I do get the feeling they're more competitive this time around because, I think the computer drivers are a little more competent now than they used to be, so they don't really need to just have them suddenly speed up to impossible speeds and catch up to you to offer some sort of challenge.
I just never seem to pull away. That's my experience with even on 50.
I don't entirely know that I've played beyond 50 yet. I've certainly beaten everything on 50cc, and I still have not unlocked Ludwig von Koopa, which is very frustrating to me because, the character selection in 8, the character selection's always been good. I feel like that's one of the cool things about Mario Kart is you get to take all these different characters. It was the first game, if I remember correctly, that took Mario characters and just stuck them together in a game that wasn't, a platform game and let you go around and have fun. You could drive as Luigi, you could drive as Toad, you could drive as Bowser and everybody. And I don't recall if they had Donkey Kong at first or if he was a later addition, but that was my favorite thing, just seeing them all thrown in there and getting to play as them. And the fact that they've finally, at long last, added the Koopa Kids has made me so excited.
I want to see the breakdown. Like, I wonder if it just ever be possible. I want to see the breakdown of what characters people are picking to play. Because I'll choose Yoshi, and I won't touch any of those other characters probably ever.
I've been only playing with Luigi because of the death stare, and I keep waiting for a good replay moment where I can slow it down and just laugh at everybody else I'm playing with because his death stare is just so good.
Yeah, maybe that's what we should do is just go like favorite Mario Kart character. Mine, now that they've added them, is Ludwig von Koopa, the best Koopa Kid of them all, although Iggy is a close second. How about you, Dakota? Who's your favorite Mario Kart person?
This is a very weird answer, but I feel like every time I play Mario Kart, when it's available, I pick Wario or Waluigi because I feel like if I'm gonna be a dick to everybody, I want to be a dick to everybody, and those two just kind of sell it for me. Before the Luigi death stare was a thing, of course. You have like the permanent Wario death stare, and the sounds he makes are amazing when he laughs.
Yeah, that's true.
Allison, favorite?
I don't know if I really had like one specific favorite. For Mario Kart 8, it's Luigi for that one reason. But in the past, I've, everybody else would kind of like have their own favorite characters, and I would usually just pick Mario because nobody else would pick Mario. Because it's like, well, we all played Mario in the other games. We want to play as other people, kind of a thing. So I would just be like,
nobody picks Mario. I don't think I've ever played with someone who played Mario.
So I usually pick Mario. It was kind of the same idea for Mario Party games as well. I would usually just pick Mario because I didn't really have a favorite in terms overall of all the characters. So I just would pick Mario because no one else would, and I guess maybe I felt bad for him. Who knows?
My son will only pick Mario, but he's 4 years old. He loves Mario more than probably anything else. If you try to make him race with somebody else, he doesn't want it. He won't do it. He's surprisingly good at that game for a 4-year-old. It's impressive. Adam, you said your favorite was Yoshi?
Yeah, I've always played as Yoshi. Probably not going to change. Although my son, also 4, also insanely good at a game he shouldn't be at 4. But he has this thing where he'll pick a Grand Prix and get upset when he can't change his character after race number 1. So that always proves to be a problem, especially if I'm trying to get, 3 stars on the cups.
Yes.
Yeah, my son doesn't want to change the characters, but he'll choose Grand Prix with a race in mind, and he doesn't understand. You have to race 3 races to get to the one you want. Just do a single race. I'm trying to explain it to him. I mean, he's 4 years old. I look like an idiot trying to tell him these things.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Well, I think we need to take a little ad break here, and then we will come back and talk a little bit about what we want to see from the franchise in the future. So we'll be back in a minute.
Video Game Lawyers to you. Have you been involved in a video game-related accident that wasn't your fault? Here at Video Game Lawyers to You, we know that you're not as smart as you like to pretend you are on the internet, and that nasty people will take advantage of your low IQ. When that happens, you need the very best money can buy. Video Game Lawyers to You.
I was very distressed to hear that my mother's a dirty slut while I was playing Call of Duty. Practically everyone I'd come across had slept with her. The very image gave me nightmares. That was until I came across Video Game Lawyers to You. They sued Activision and I was given enough money to buy the next Call of Duty, plus a bunch of DLC. I couldn't be happier, despite not being able to look my mum in the eye anymore.
Video Game Lawyers to You. Here at Video Game Lawyers to You, we're all trained at the University of Reddit, and that means that you're getting top-of-the-range opinions on what the law should be. If you're negatively impacted by a flash of side boob, or if indeed you want more side boob, we're here to twist the law so that your delicate sensibilities are more important than anything else.
Video Game Lawyers to You.
I jumped off a 4-story building because a line of birds were congregated at the top. Assassin's Creed taught me that this only happens when there's a haystack at the bottom, ready to catch me like the warm embrace of an angel's teat. Actually, I just plummeted into a big mess on the floor, just like the economy. Video Game Lawyers to You, sued Ubisoft for making me presume video game stuff is different from real life stuff.
Video Game Lawyers to You.
Disappointed by the fact you can get in trouble when you throw your Ultra Balls at the neighborhood cat? Can't decide between difficult moral decisions because video games have taught you there's only ever two polar opposite choices? You know who to call.
Video Game Lawyers to You.
I enjoyed the Mass Effect trilogy until the last 15 minutes, at which point I killed everyone I loved in a psychopathic bloodbath. Then I went out on the streets and started taking my rage out on random passers-by. Video Game Lawyers to You managed to convince the jury that I'm a product of violent video games, and then they sued EA for daring to do anything that I don't approve of. I've used the money from the lawsuit to build a model of the girl next door out of human excrement. Thanks, Video Game Lawyers to You.
Video Game Lawyers to You.
Call Video Game Lawyers to You today and get a free membership to WhyDon'tGirlsSleepWithMe.com. Tired of always being turned down because you don't shower? Now you can use the power of the law to get those same girls forced into your bed. And remember, if you're unhappy, there's probably someone else to blame.
Video Game Lawyers to You.
And we're back. Our good friend Adam had to take off there, so I'm left with Allison and Dakota. How's it going?
That was such a great ad. I want that product.
Yeah, I'm sold.
I think everybody will be requiring the services of Video Game Lawyers to You. I think it's a British company, though.
Aw, not available in the U.S.?
Maybe not. I don't know. I'll get in touch with the people in charge over there. Maybe we'll get a branch over here. In any case, Mario Kart. I feel like we should talk a little bit about what sort of things we want to see in the future from the game. I mean, they added online, that was good. They added bikes, that was good. Anyway, I don't know if anybody's interested, but they actually created Mario Kart as a game where two people could race together because the other racing game that was big at the time was F-Zero. Similar graphics, cool Mode 7 scrolling graphics or whatever, but you couldn't play with two people at once. The tracks were too elaborate. So they wanted to make a racing game that two people could play at once, and they went, well, screw it. Let's just throw the Mario guys in, and the tracks couldn't be as elaborate as F-Zero was, obviously, because they were going to have to render it twice as two people were racing around. So they just figured, we'll use the Mario people as a draw, and the tracks will be simpler, and then hopefully people will buy it, and obviously they have.
I like how it was kind of like this thing they sort of threw together just to try to compete and weren't sure if it was going to work out, and now it's this gigantic franchise.
Yeah, when was the last time they made an F-Zero game? Will they ever make another? It's hard to say. But what do we want to see in the future? I know before the show I mentioned what I want to see is I just want it to be Nintendo Kart. I mean, they have loads of characters now, but I see no reason why Link and Zelda and Ganon, I'm really sticking the Legend of Zelda here. Surely there are other franchises, but why can't they have other Nintendo characters? Mega Man, I mean, think of all the people they have on Smash Brothers. Why can't they be racing karts too?
I really like that idea. I mean, the kind of the draw with the only difference would be like when you pick a character in Mario Kart, usually it doesn't matter which character you pick, whereas in Smash Brothers it matters immensely. And like kind of the draw, they would, the announcing of new characters in each game is kind of a big draw for Nintendo and big excitement. The new moves everybody has, but even if it doesn't matter which character you pick, I do think that would be pretty fun, and it might be able to draw even more people in. People who may not be big Mario fans, but what if they're big Zelda fans and like, oh, I can play as Link? Like that's really cool, and I don't know. I think that's a good idea.
So you think they should have like special character-related abilities like in-game, like maybe a special thing that only they can pick up for each character, something like related to them?
They did have something like that with Double Dash, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. That's what I was just thinking. I don't know why. I think they abandoned that for the new ones though. Yeah,
I think they did. They probably just wanted to make it more of an even playing field, but I I wouldn't mind if they brought that back. You know, the idea that each character, like not a whole set of moves like Smash Brothers, but like just one special kind of attack that each character would have their own special attack. That would be and somehow make it related to the game they're from. So, you know, if it's Zelda, make it something from Zelda.
Just like a fun Easter egg for them.
Yeah.
I believe that the reason I like that idea too, because I think it makes each of the characters more unique, but if I am thinking of it correctly, they took that out because people inevitably take the game way too seriously, and then there's always one character whose special item is way better than everybody else's because they're not going to sit there and balance it. It's supposed to just be fun, and then everybody just wants to be the one guy who has that one tiny little edge. And, you know, I mean, people are a pain in the ass and they ruin everything.
Yeah.
But can you imagine Ganondorf on a motorcycle racing down? He's got.
I really can't. I can't imagine it. I want to see it though. A very tiny motorcycle that is not appropriately sized to him would be best.
That would be cool. I want it now. I don't know what power he would have. He's got a piece of the Triforce, but I don't know what sort of advantage that would confer on the kart track. Anyway,
he just turns into a pig, the boar, and then like tramples people or something.
See, perfect. You've got the brain power for it. I just want to give rough ideas and let everybody else, the smart people, refine them into something magical.
Yeah, Allison, get on this. Start making it.
Nintendo, if you're listening in, my resume can be found at. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm sure they're listening. Don't worry.
Definitely. I'm sending this straight to Reggie for approval afterwards.
Reggie!
My body's ready, Reggie. You know what that code means. What else? I mean, is there anything in particular you guys think like, oh man, Mario Kart would be so awesome if they just blank?
Well, we touched on it earlier with the battle modes that they don't really kind of pay as much attention to anymore, but were like the best part when we played as kids. And I don't know why they don't create just like more kinds of events. I mean, it doesn't have to just be racing. They could add all these different modes and just have like, I don't know, I guess more variety in the game, because as much as I love racing, I mean, you can only play so many rounds before you're like, okay, I'm done with this now. I'm still on lap 1. And they could add, you know, some more different modes, some more levels, some interesting things. I would love to see that.
If they wanted to follow the trend of gaming nowadays, they could implement some kind of create your own track system.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
And then upload it, you know, so that everybody can play it, and you know, you can like place where you want the power-ups to be, where you want. I feel like it'd be really complicated with the 8 now, because you have like the anti-gravity ones too, where you can go up on the walls and everything. Like I can only imagine what people would create. It would be insane, absolutely insane. But I think that would be really cool.
And then you could maybe like share them, like maybe if they had a place where you could upload those, like a server or something. I think we're getting too complicated for what
exactly.
Nintendo can do, but you know, if they move it to PC, these are great ideas.
Yeah, but exactly, it's kind of like Little Big Planet karting, where you can create your own racetracks and then upload it, and then you can search tags or search which ones were voted the best and stuff like that, and then be able to race other people's tracks. And I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, you're right. I don't know if Nintendo's internet structure is ready for that kind of thing yet.
Yeah, this is advanced thinking we're doing here.
To be able to see that the kinds of tracks and stuff that people would be able to make if they were given that tool set, though, I mean, especially like Little Big Planet karting or even just Little Big Planet, the levels people would make, most of them were garbage, but every once in a while you would find one where you would just be floored by how much better it was, even than the ones that the developers made. I can't imagine what people could do if you could just turn them loose. I'm kind of excited for that Mario Maker for that similar reason. But that's what. So how about Mario Kart Maker? It'd be the next step up for people.
Oh, that's right. Was that E3 when they showed that?
Yeah, they just showed you get to use like the gamepad to grab different elements and design your own Mario platforming levels. It could be good, or it could be like everybody who plays Wii U is just going to go, I don't want to make my own game, you make the game.
Oh, I'm sure, if not here, hopefully we'll have access to the people in Japan who, I'm sure there'll be tons of people in Japan who'll make games.
A lot of tentacle levels and that sort of thing.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
come on.
Well, and why isn't there like a way to just fully design your own cart? Why aren't there like alternative outfits? I mean, these are very, surface level things, but I think it'd be kind of amazing if you could go in and really just it would break up the repetitiveness of the game if you could really like alter your racer and alter your car.
In 8, you can, at least with the car, like you have the ability to you choose the body and you choose the wheels and then you choose the what do you call it? The kite overhang thing for when you kind of glide in the air. And like depending on what you choose, changes like the weight of your car, the traction, and the acceleration, like all that kind of stuff. So it actually makes a difference, like what you choose for your car. And like as you play the game, you unlock more parts or more wheels and more bodies and stuff like that. So at least
That's
it's
amazing.
sort of, yeah. So at least it's
That feels
sort
like a
of
natural
there.
progression.
Yeah, I really like that system, and I'm glad they implemented that with 8.
But maybe for the next one, they could take it the next step up where you could play with like the weight differential. You can futz around with the gear ratios before you go in. Oh, your transmission fluid's low. You better put in some new stuff. Head to Napa first. Oh, you need a new oil filter. I mean, it sounds great, right?
Have to stop at the gas station. Gotta get some gas. Get some snacks.
Yeah, I don't think I want Need for Speed, but more customization, sure. I like having the motorcycle with the tiny little wheels made of sponge on it in 8, and then jumping off a ramp and flying away with a kite shaped like a squirrel or whatever the hell it is. Awesome.
Yeah, more customization always helps the game, I think. Makes it more fun, more variety, more exciting.
I'm trying. What else? When I was thinking about doing this show, I was like, oh, I got so much cool stuff I could add. But actually, when I play 8, I feel like this is pretty good. There's not a lot of stuff I can think of off the top of my head. I would say designing your own tracks and customizing to a greater extent is probably the biggest ones. If they're not gonna let Link just drive a damn cart, which I don't understand.
See, now you're set on this. You're going to be disappointed with every Mario Kart game to come because you can't play as Link.
I've been thinking that since like probably Mario Kart 64 or Double Dash, so I'm not getting my hopes up. But if they ever did it, someday they'll do it. When I'm like 60 years old, they're on Mario Kart 74. They'll do it, and it'll probably give me a heart attack, and that'll be the end for me.
I mean, that's a good way to go out, though, I think.
Well, not if you didn't get to play it.
Well, maybe you play it, and then you get first as Ganondorf on the tiny little scooter, and then you die, and that's perfect.
Yeah, there we go. That's a good way to go. Joe, write this down.
Yeah, please make Mario Kart 74 the game that kills me. When I ride as Ganondorf on a tiny little motorcycle, I turn into the giant warthog thing, cross the finish line for first, and my heart just explodes from sheer joy.
We're going to put that on your tombstone, that exact sentence.
Yes.
By then they should have like holographic tombstones, and you can just attach an audio file so that I'll just say it to anyone walking by. It'll be very unnerving, but I would love that.
We'll use this recording.
Well, is there anything else you guys want to say about Mario Kart, the franchise, the games, the future, the memories, before we wrap this thing up?
I'm actually curious how you felt about Double Dash, because while, yes, they did keep sort of like the same structure and the same formula, Double Dash was actually kind of like the oddball because you had the ability, I mean, you didn't have to, so it still kind of stayed the same if you didn't want to. But each cart had two players, and then if you wanted to do co-op, one person would drive and the other person would control the attacks, and then you can switch whenever you wanted. And I thought that was, I mean, I didn't play Double Dash as much, and I thought that was interesting, but I just didn't know what you guys felt about it.
That's a really good point. I think Double Dash was probably my favorite of the franchise so far. I love that ability to be able to swap between characters. It's just like a fun added detail. And I don't know if you remember this, because I know you said you didn't play much of it, but there was this track, and I don't remember what it was called, but it was like the, baby Mario and Luigi and Peach track, and it was just a complete circle, and it was like really short, and I think it was like 8 laps or something, and you would just go in this circle, and things were like still on the board, and that was the funnest track I think I ever played on, because it was so like fair and completely random at the same time, because things are just flying
so chaotic.
around. Yeah, it was chaotic and silly and kind of like out of the normal I don't know, track design. And I think that was like that's probably one of my fondest memories right there, is that track.
I remember finding out that Double Dash was a super competitive game. Like, I didn't play it that way. It was just like, hey, Mario Kart, and I played it with a couple of friends. And I feel like it wasn't until years later that I heard about people, because that was the one where people would do the little hop thing and get the crazy sparks going, and they were just hopping and sparking and getting boosts all the way through, and people treated it like, this is the most competitive game I've ever played. I can finish a lap in under 8 seconds or whatever. It was like, that would have ruined it for me. I'm glad none of my friends were doing that.
Yeah, I don't think I played it that way. I think it was, I don't know, especially when you're on a map like the one I was mentioning, it's just such chaotic fun. You can't really like win at that. I mean, you might happen to get across the finish line because you like accidentally went that direction, but it didn't feel too competitive.
I find it funny that people took Mario Kart, so seriously, because it's like, it's Mario. Like, why are you taking this so seriously?
I feel like there's nothing that people can't take too seriously, and I am one of them. I have a real problem with getting into a game that should just be like, I feel like on season 1, Charles and I probably talked about taking Animal Crossing too seriously and deleting towns so that we could get the perfect layout, and kicking out residents because we didn't like them or they were ugly or they were stupid or whatever. It's a problem. Some people like me, we have issues.
Oh, okay, I understand now.
Well, we are short on time, so I think that's probably about all we have time to talk about Mario Kart for today. Thanks for joining me, ladies, and Adam, thank you for coming, even though you're not here anymore. I know you're listening.
Well, thank you, Joe. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, really fun. Thank you.
All right, next week, it's What You Been Playing week, where we're just going to be talking about what we've been up to, what games are out, what we've been doing. Not as informative, although I don't know how informative this week really was. If you have any questions, comments, complaints, podcast@gamesreviews.com. Actually, save your complaints for mattgraucott@gmail. I'm fine with that. Do you guys want to share your Twitters and get some followers, maybe?
Mine's at Allie893. That's ALLI893. I don't really Twitter as much as I used to, but feel free to follow if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm at Miss MISS and then Kotalee, which is KOTALEE. And I like the verb of Twitter, by the way. I Twitter mostly regularly, but not that interestingly, I'm sure.
I also have a Twitter, but I don't know what my name is. So it'll be in the show notes. Don't worry about that. I don't know why you'd want to follow me anyway. All right. I guess that is it this week. Have a good one, everybody. This is GRCast.